off to see Mr. Shun Chul Choi and Mrs. Jong Hwa Hong.
According to the claimant, the debtors sublet a previous property they were renting from him without his permission and without paying him rent.
We're looking to collect £8,838.08.
The claimant escalated the case to the High Court, and now Mr. Choi and Mrs. Hong must pay in full today.
Hello, hiya, here to see Mrs. Hong.
Yes.
And is that you? And Mr. Choi? Hiya, I'm a High Court enforcement agent.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. Are you Mr. Choi? Hello, Mr. Choi. My name's Max Caroline. It's my colleague Steve Penner. We're High Court enforcement agents. We're here to speak to you about a High Court writ we have for you. Just step in.
So my solicitor sent to the letter to court, so we make this date. So
have you got a date?
Yes.
If you show us.
Mr. Choi shows Steve a letter his solicitor has written to the court appealing the case. But this won't stop Max and Steve.
Just because the solicitor has written a letter to the court, it wouldn't mean that the writ is not live.
The problem is,
what do you want, please?
what do we want?
£8,838.08. Can you make this payment?
No.
Can I just explain this to you? If we have to stay here longer, we then have to go round, make lists of everything that's here, and then the price gets more.
So how can I do it?
You need to talk to someone. If they can help us and pay it now, and then you can argue it when you go back to court. Solicitors can slow things down because they're arguing a point on behalf of their client. Sometimes they say, oh, there's an application to stop it, but it is only an application. It's not a definite stop. So until such time there is a definite stop, we have to continue. The writ we hold commands us to do the job.
Despite having the situation clearly explained to him, Mr. Choi gets back on the phone to his solicitor.
I'm going to begin making an inventory.
With no offer of payment, Max starts looking for items they could seize to offset the debt.
Big property. Huge property.
But upstairs, he's in for a surprise.
Hello. You don't have a...
Speaking English.
What language do you speak, madam? Greek. This is your room.
Yes.
Are you a tenant here, miss?
Yes.
Ah, right.
With the discovery of a tenant, Max is suspicious that the debtors are subletting this house just as they did at their previous address. But Max and Steve aren't here to flush out a scam. They're here to try and recover the nearly £9,000 Mr. Choi owes to his previous landlord. And he's still making no offer to pay.
Steve, we're not getting what we want.
Yeah.
We'll have to take action. We're now begin to pay goods for a move, if that's all right with you.
Yeah.
Max heads outside to clamp the car on the driveway.
I've seized the vehicle.
Yeah.
We'll run an HPR on it.
I'll put that on.
Yes, please. 56 plate Voyager. All right.
But the value of the car won't fully cover the debt. So Max continues to look around the house and finds IT equipment in a downstairs office.
We haven't got payment. We're being messed around.
No.
So we're being messed around. You're not going to pay this. So the only way... Yes, it's all going. Yeah, it's all going. Yeah. Right, take your hands off of me, okay? Take your hands off of me. This will be removed. You're messing me around. You're not going to pay it. Yes? Your solicitor is wrong. I am going to remove this. Please don't put your hands on me again.
Mr. Choi is now physically obstructing Max.
Sir, listen, take your hands off of me. I won't ask again.
With tension rising, Max has to make Mr. Choi understand that the agents have every right to remove goods from the house.
Please let me carry on with my job. Otherwise, I assure you, you will be arrested for obstructing a High Court enforcement agent.
When we're trying to make somebody see sense, I think it's almost like the bait's on the hook and the fish is there lurking. And when it's a particularly large sum of money, they're almost weighing up, is it worth the enforcement agents removing all our assets, or do we need to pay it and put a line in the sand?
But despite Steve and Max removing his possessions, Mr. Choi still refuses to pay. He phones his solicitor again.
Sir, with the greatest respect, our office sends the letters out and we're not allowed to go out until the letter date has been cleared. The letter will have been sent.
Right, I won't, hold on. So I've asked you this loads of times. All you're doing is phoning your solicitors to argue with us. I've asked very nicely, and you made no effort to raise the funds.
Come.
You need to pay
Yeah,
now.
I know. Yeah.
Okay.
Can you do that?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, you got a card?
Hold it, yeah.
I'm not going to wait because I've been here for ages.
Okay,
Right.
don't touch me.
Well, I have to.
Okay.
I'm not touching you.
Okay.
Mr. Choi still refuses to cooperate. Now the stress is taking its toll on Mrs. Hong. Steve intervenes.
I'm very sorry we've upset you, but we are here because there is a reason. We wouldn't be here for no reason. But it's a lot. That's why I have grey hair. When somebody gets emotional, you have to talk to them, you know, on a level that they will accept and understand. I'd like to think I'm a people person, but when somebody's emotional, it does have a knock-on effect on us because we can see the situation they're in and we still have to try and get through the job.
It's now 2 hours since the agents arrive. Mr. Choi is still not offering to pay. To keep the pressure on, Max continues to remove items from the house in the hope that he'll change his mind.
We've been messed around back and forth, conversations with solicitors who are giving possibly some of the worst advice I've ever come across in my career doing this. I really don't know why he's making it so difficult on himself.
Steve phones the office for a second recovery truck.
We need a vehicle to remove items of household items and a vehicle to remove a car. Some debtors do believe that they can outsmart the system. So, you know, and then all of a sudden then you have to start to dig your heels in and say at the end of the day, this is what we're sent to do. Well, let's see who's going to win here, us or you.
Is that all sorted, Steve?
Yeah, they're organising a van now to come along and a truck to take the car.
With more removal vehicles on their way, Mr. Choi is in danger of losing most of his possessions to offset the debt. Finally, the pressure gets too much.
Okay, I did.
Mr. Choi gives in. But because the agents had started to remove goods, £1,200 has been added to the debt. Mr. Choi now pays over £10,000 by bank transfer.
I just called to check that and I'll give you all your receipts, etc. Can you confirm for me that a total of £10,039.28 has been received? Yeah. Excellent, thank you very much. That writ's paid in full. I'll issue